I'm working as an AI consultant right now. So the client that I have right now is ThinkTrax, and they have further clients that are abroad. So the thing that I needed to monitor was something called OLE, which is optimal labor efficiency. So basically OLE is that I have to track all the workers in the factory and then record their times for how long do they actually work at their certain place. We'll see for how long that Mr. X is actually doing some sort of productive work or not, and then we'll do for Y and Z and each of the factory workers.
So when you're building this, I noticed you actually had a camera in the office.
Yeah.
Watching over all of you.
Yes.
Actually working.
Yes.
So you were using that for testing?
Yeah, that was basically for testing, sort of like a demo run. So what I did was that I created a region of interest, and so we had a few tables in which particular people basically sit and work. So the region of interest was that table, and their dwell time, or you could call efficiency time, was the amount of time that they spend actually on that table working or not. So if it's in the factory, because it's mostly physical work, so the amount of time that they spend on the machine can be considered as work. If they go off for a cigarette or something else, so that's a bit different.
So it's like a visual timesheet.
Yeah, it's sort of like a visual timesheet. Yes. So what the program did was that it basically started a counter for each and every particular person for the amount of time that they spent in that region of interest. So basically they can't cheat the system now. Whenever they enter it, the counter will start. Whenever they leave, the counter won't. The counter will stop. So for a 12-hour shift, if normally a factory worker basically just did that, he entered the time once in the morning and then in the evening. So basically it's a 12-hour shift, you can't tell. Now it's very particular. For that 12-hour shift, you can actually tell that for maybe 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, or whatever, that factory worker was actually doing the work that was required for him.
And how do you go about doing that? That looks very exciting, but how is this achieved? Or technically, what did you use?
So what I did was, first I had to recognize a particular person's face. So for the demo, I just did it on myself, right? Then I created a region of interest. We can do that in any sort of shape in particular.
What technology did you use?
Basically, I had to use an Intel Neural Stick. Then I had to interface it with OpenVINO, used a few libraries for machine learning, TensorFlow, Keras, face recognition library as well. So in the end, I basically got the program to recognize my particular face.
Your face.
Yes.
And so, is it wrong? Is the program wrong often? False positives, false negatives?
Yes, in particular cases when if a person's pretty far away from the camera, but if you set a camera in a particular place and we know that that person's actually going to work there, so for that case you could say it works fine. Because I know the machine's already there, it's static, obviously it won't move.
And you're working with both that, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. So basically what that does again was that it took the time, sent a JSON file, then it comes on the front end. So what the line manager can do is he can see the time. Yeah, he can get a report on that every 2 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever.
कुछ चीज़ें ना इनमें से होती हैं जो मतलब ये तो POC है ना, proof of concept है, छोटा सा है, JSON file निकाल देते हैं. But you want to be, when you're describing it, you want to inflate it a little bit and say कि जी reporting dashboard पे आप देख सकते हैं, see data जो है उसको आप analyze कर सकते हैं, slice and dice कर सकते हैं. Eventually ये होना ही है, Power BI की किसी report में सारा data.
Obviously.
उधर graph भी बनेंगे, chart भी बनेंगे. JSON में से आ रहा है तो आता है.
Right.
ध्यान उसको JSON में करना चाहिए, report ही करना चाहिए. So who else can benefit from this? I mean, you mentioned this factory floor example, but what other applications do you think can benefit from?
I think that this can be applied to basically every sort of work environment, not just a particular factory. Even if you take an IT house or basically even a university or school or anything.
Schools, exactly.
Yeah, exactly, law firms. So it's basically a smart monitoring system. Yeah, and I forgot to tell one thing. Another AI aspect of the project was that if it detects an unrecognized person, right? So on the on the dashboard, the line manager got to know that okay, it's an alert, it's an unrecognized person which he doesn't recognize. Or for example, if it's a new worker or a new employee comes. So what the program does is that once the line manager himself labels that particular person, so now when the program will run again, it will automatically detect that new person again. So this is another AI. Yeah, it basically retrains itself for every new person that comes. So it's not like that it's a fixed input. It's
monitoring a folder or something.
no, not even folder. Basically, it's dynamic. It's not static. It's not like a fixed number of workers. If one person goes, another comes in, then you can retrain it for the new person.